Good day everyone, I'm Frances Camille G. Aquino.
I'm Rhea Jean Princess A. Tirado.
I'm Gina Dean Antonio Inocente.
And for today's discussion, we are going to talk about the history of Pointillism and the notable artists and their artworks. Pointillism originated with the neo-impressionist painter of the 1880s who sought to deconstruct the artistic technique of the Impressionist art movement, while the Impressionists simply depicted what they saw in real life. The Neo-Impressionists explored form and colors through experimental paint application techniques. The term Neo-Impressionism was coined by French art critic Felix Fignon in 1886 to describe one of Georges Seurat's work, A Sunday Afternoon on the Island of La Grande Jatte, and Pointillism would emerge within this movement. Pointillism is a painting technique evolved from short brush strokes into fine, precise dots. The technique inspired other artists like French post-impressionist painters like Paul Gauguin, Henri Rousseau, and Paul Cézanne, and the Dutch painter Vincent van Gogh, who used new techniques such as patterned brush stroke and unneutral color to capture their unique perspective on the world. Though the Pointillism art movement was relatively short-lived, its influence would ripple throughout the art world for decades to come. This deconstructivist art technique became one of the key influences of Surrealism and Fauvism, leading to massive evolution in modern art.
Now we are going to talk about the creation of Pointillism. Pointillism is a painting technique that was created by Georges Seurat, French 1859-1891 in 1880s and employed in his famous painting A Sunday Afternoon on La Grande Jatte, an island in the Seine River in France. The French artist Georges Seurat studied the application of color and he created Pointillism in the 1880s. He worked with other artists and together they became known for this new artistic style. He was a famous painter of the Impressionist movement. These were a group of painters who totally changed the history of art, stepping aside all traditional art. They started painting based on light, portraying light with various colors. This was done with the small brush strokes of different colors placed next to each other. When these paintings were seen closely, they seemed blurry, but when seen from a distance, the different colors blended in the eye and the composition could be defined. Let's take a look at the painting of Seurat, A Sunday on La Grande Jatte, 1884, complete in the 1884 to 1886. So behind this painting, in the 1880s, the lower middle classes flocked to the Grande Jatte in suburban Paris for a riverside stroll and a picnic on Sunday afternoons. This was the kind of subject matter that the Impressionists had made fashionable, but Seurat was far from embracing that art movement's pursuit of the fleeting and spontaneous. He made more than 70 preliminary oil sketches and drawings for this formalized image, with its careful composition and stress on simplified geometric forms. During his 2 years working on La Grande Jatte, Seurat was also developing the pointillist technique of applying color in dots that were intended to fuse when seen from a distance, and it coexists here with his more conventional earlier style. Some 40 figures crowd the canvas, mostly in profile or full face. They appear static and frozen in uncommunicative proximity. Many figures have been identified as known Parisian stereotypes. For instance, the woman standing in the right foreground with the striking bustle is identified by her Pet monkey, symbol of lasciviousness. As a woman of those morals. The seated man with the top hat on the left is the fashionable stroller of a boulevards. The shift from a shaded foreground to a bright background creates a strong sense of depth to which the recession of figures contributes, although there are some disorienting shifts in scale. Surratt said that his aim was to represent modern life in the style of a classical Greek frieze.
Paul Signac. Paul Signac was born in Paris. In the creation of his first painting, he was influenced by Monet. In 1884, he took part in establishing the Society of Independent Artists. George Seurat was founded Pointillism. Paul Signac was born November 11, 1863 in Paris, France, dead August 15, 1935 in Paris. French developed the technique called Pointillism. When he was 18, Signac gave up the study of architecture for painting. And though Armand Guillaumin became a convert to the coloristic principle of Impressionism. In 1884, Signac helped found the Salon des Indépendants. There he met Seurat, whom initiated in the broken color technique of Impressionism. The two went on the developed method they called Pointillism, which became the basis of Neo-Impressionism.
In the breakfast, Signac used mainly blue, yellow, and orange, green as constructing and complementary colors. The figure, his mother, grandfather, and housemaid are shown frontally or in profile and are standing or sitting motionless without showing any expression. They have not been portrayed but are painted as types as example of a timeless Borgias. In this sense, the painting is also a critical commentary on the self-satisfaction of civic life and authoritarian capitalism. Signac, who was a confirmed anarchist and his like-minded friend rejected. Charles Andrade was a neo-impressionist painter and draftsman. He studied at Académie de Peinture de Dessin in Rouen. He was an important member of the Parisian avant-garde art scene in late 1880s and early 1890s. Andrade's implementation of pointillist technique differed from that of some of its leading proponents. He painted with more muted palette than Seurat and Signac, who used bright contrast colors. As seen in the couple in the street painting of George Andrade, he used dots of various colors to enhance shadow and provide the proper tone while avoiding the violent coloration found in many other neo-impressionist work. He was very reclusive for his last 30 years.
Henry Edmond Cross, born as Henry Edmond Joseph de la Croix, French 1856-1910, was a French painter and a portraitmaker. He was leading neo-impressionist painter, a pioneer of Pointillism, and a founding member of the Salon des Indépendants. Born in Douai and raised in Lille, France, Cross studied law before moving to Paris to study at the École des Beaux Arts. Henry Edmond Cross, a Divisionism portraiture, one of the most influential artists throughout the second phase of post-impressionism, was a French painter and a printmaker, Henry Edmond Cross. He is most acclaimed as a master of post-impressionism with an instrumental influence in the development of Fauvism. In 1884, Cross was a co-founder of the Société des Artistes Independants, which was the time when he met many like-minded artists, including George Seurat, Albert Dubois, Pilit, and Charles Angrad. Despite the close relationship with them, Henry Edmund Cross didn't adopt their style for many years. It was in 1891 when he finally began painting in the manner of the group, and the same year he exhibited his first art piece made with the Pointillism technique. It was a divisionist portrait of Madame Hector France, who became Cross' wife in 1893. The picture is softly charged with a granular atmospheric glow. Robert Rosenblum wrote about this cross painting. In the years to come, the work of Henry Edmund Cross had a special impact on the artistic development of the artists like Henri Matisse and many others. Landscape with Sky. This painting is an early 20th century painting by Henry Edmund Cross. Done in watercolor on white wolf paper, the work is a part of the collection of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. This poetic depiction of a star-streaked sky combines the long, broken brushstrokes of Cross' late works with a murky landscape of pen and ink, reminiscent in its impressionistic forms of Japanese painting. The Scheme of Pointillism. The scheme of pointillism is in sharp contrast to the traditional methods of blending pigments on a palette. Pointillism is analogs to the four-color CMYK, cyan, the blue, magenta, the red, yellow, and the key, the black. Printing process. Televisions and computer monitors use a similar technique to represent image colors using red, green, and blue colors. The scheme of pointillism involves applying small dots or strokes of pure color into a canvas, which blend together when viewed from a distance. This creates an optical effect known as the optical mixing, where the colors appear to merge and create new hues. Pointillism was influenced by scientific theories on light and color, particularly the work of physicist Michel Eugene Gevril. It also drew inspiration from Japanese woodblock prints, which use flat areas of color to create image.
So, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. See you next time.